Every Sunday she came to mourn her husband. She believed she was the only one in the world who still remembered him. She was wrong. For 2 full years, without her knowledge, someone else had been visiting the same grave. Someone who had no right to be there. Someone she never expected. And when she finally found out who it was, the truth shattered everything she thought she knew about grief, war, and the enemies we're told to hate forever. This is a story about a dead German soldier, a British artillery sergeant, and a secret that was kept in silence for 2 years on a quiet Wednesday morning in post-war Germany. April 12, 1948, Lundberg, Germany, British occupation zone. A woman knelt beside a wooden cross, her fingers pulling weeds from the cold earth with the practiced patience of someone who had done this hundreds of times before. Her name was Anna V. She was 27 years old. And for 3 straight years, without missing a single week, she had made this journey to a small military cemetery just outside the town. The grave belonged to her husband, Friedrich Weber, a German infantry soldier, killed on March 15, 1945, when a British artillery strike obliterated his command position near the Ilmenau River just weeks before the war ended. Anna had been 24 when she received the telegram. 3 years of marriage, gone in a single page of cold military text. The cemetery was modest, roughly 80 graves in neat rows, each marked with a wooden cross. British military police once guarded the gate. Sergeant Morrison from Scotland used to check her papers every week. Sundays only, 0900 to 1600 hours. Over time, the guards changed. Morrison left. New faces replaced him. But Anna never stopped coming. She brought flowers when she could find them. She pulled weeds. She talked to Friedrich in silence. His family home in Hamburg had been destroyed in the firebombing. His parents were gone. His brothers, gone. Anna was the last person on earth who remembered that Friedrich Weber had ever existed. Or so she believed. On that cold April morning, as Anna finished tending the grave, she heard footsteps behind her. She turned. An elderly German woman stood a few feet away, watching her with careful eyes. Her name was Frau Schultz, 72 years old. A widow herself. Her husband had died in the Great War, a different generation's tragedy. She lived in Lundberg and walked past this cemetery almost every single day. She had noticed something Anna had never seen. "There's something you should know," Schultz whispered, glancing around as though afraid to be overheard. "You're not the only one who comes here." Anna stared at her. "Not the only one?" Schultz leaned closer. "There's a British sergeant. He comes every Wednesday morning, early, before most people are out. He doesn't come as a guard." She paused. "He comes in civilian clothes." Anna felt a strange, cold move through her chest. Not fear exactly, confusion, disbelief. "He goes to your husband's grave," Schultz continued. "He stands there. Sometimes he brings flowers, then he leaves." Anna said nothing for a long moment. "How long?" she finally asked. 2 years, Schultz said. "Since sometime in 1946, same man, every Wednesday. Always your husband's grave, specifically." The word landed like a stone in still water. Specifically. Not any grave. Not a random act of respect for fallen soldiers. Friedrich's grave. Only Friedrich's grave. But why? Anna didn't wait for Sunday. The following Wednesday, April 14, 1948, she arrived at the cemetery before sunrise. 700 hours earlier than she had ever come. The gate was unlocked. No guards, no one watching. She positioned herself near the entrance and waited in the cold morning air, perfectly still. At exactly 0745, a figure appeared on the road leading from town. Male, mid-30s, British civilian clothing. He moved with military precision, steady stride, eyes forward. In his hand, a small bundle of wildflowers. Simple ones, nothing expensive. He didn't hesitate. He walked directly to Friedrich's grave. Not browsing, not searching, as if he had made this exact walk 100 times before, because he had. He knelt, placed the flowers, bowed his head. A British man, bowing in respect over the grave of a German soldier he had once called the enemy. Anna watched for 10 full minutes, barely breathing. The man didn't pray aloud. He simply stayed in silence. Then he stood, turned, and walked back toward town. She followed him. He entered a British administrative building, Control Commission offices near the town center. Anna waited outside, her heart hammering against her ribs. 2 hours later, he emerged. She stepped forward. "Entschuldigung," she said. "Excuse me. Sind das Sie, the man who visits my husband's grave?" The man stopped, turned, looked at her with an expression she would never forget. Not guilt, not fear, recognition. "You're Mrs. Weber." They found a bench in a nearby park. The man's name was Thomas Wright. British Army sergeant, now a civilian contractor working reconstruction projects for the Control Commission. He had returned to Lundberg in November 1946 after demobilization, and when he came back he had found the cemetery. He had found Friedrich's grave, and he had started coming every Wednesday morning, his day off. And I asked the only question that mattered: why? Wright was quiet for a moment. Then he spoke, his German halting but deliberate. "I was there," he said. "March 15th, 1945, the battle at the river. I commanded the artillery observer team that called in the fire mission. The strike that killed your husband, I ordered it." The air between them seemed to disappear. "After the battle," Wright continued, "we recovered the bodies. Your husband was found in the command position. He had stayed there until the very end, directing his men. The British captain, Morrison, said it was the action of a professional soldier. That's why he ordered full military honors." Anna couldn't speak. "I don't visit because I killed him," Wright said softly. "I visit because I remember him. Not as an enemy, as a soldier who did his duty the same as I was doing mine. He's buried in a foreign country, far from his home. Someone should remember that he existed, that he mattered." And in that moment, something cracked open inside Anna that had been sealed shut for 3 years. She wasn't alone anymore. Thomas Wright left Lundberg in November 1948. Before he went, he handed Anna a photograph. The cemetery, Friedrich's grave visible among the rows. "So I can remember," he told her. Back in Yorkshire, Wright never returned to Germany. But every Wednesday morning for the rest of his life, at precisely 7:45 hours, he stopped whatever he was doing and observed 2 minutes of complete silence. Anna continued her Sunday visits until 1965, when failing health made the journey impossible. She died in 1967 and was buried in Lundberg's civilian cemetery. Her tombstone was simple, but she had made one request. She wanted to be buried facing southeast, toward the old military cemetery where Friedrich had rested for 22 years. Wright died in 1972 in Yorkshire. His will contained a single personal instruction, that the photograph of Lundberg Cemetery be buried with him. 2 people, 2 countries, 2 sides of the same war, and one grave that neither of them could bring themselves to forget. This story doesn't simplify what happened. It doesn't excuse it. It simply reminds us that even in the aftermath of the worst things human beings have ever done to each other, there are still those who choose something harder than hate. They choose to remember